So, the very first thing that I noticed was Nana. On the commercial of, you're watching Always Late TV. She's like, you're watching the Disney Channel. No.
She was hilarious in this episode. I love her.
If you're a big booty bitch or an N-word with money, you're watching Always Late TV. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm a big booty bitch or an N-word with money. How do I find out?
I know I'm a big booty bitch, so it's cool. I fit right in.
Do I have to be a big booty bitch or someone with money to watch?
According to her, yeah, apparently.
Well, I'm sorry, Nana. I'm neither. I just do this.
You just gotta pretend.
Pretend I have a big
Pretend
ass?
you have an ass at all.
Because Lord knows I don't have an ass at all.
I know. I think you're my only friend that does not have an ass, like legit.
You're checking out my ass?
There's nothing to check out, so of course.
Yeah. Moving on. All right. So last week we left you with a hangover. We left you with a cliffhanger because she was given information. Yeah, my mind went blank for a second. She was given information by Sassy Couture magazine that one of the girls that were remaining were going to get a cover shoot, and they were going to be featured in one of their magazines. First thing we find out, this episode, Chelsi gets it. So we're both wrong.
Yeah.
We're both wrong.
Yeah. Congrats, Chelsi, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, it makes sense. She did get immunity.
Yeah.
And she's, I guess, been decent in most of her shots, except for I didn't like the last one. I'm just trying to make it sound good.
You're kind.
I don't think
you're
she
very
deserves
kind.
it at all, really, but
yeah, I don't think she deserves it at all. But here's the interesting thing: Mackenzie's starting to become jealous of Chelsi's success. So I don't know if that's like a rift that's starting between those two, but like Mackenzie has become her official patsy. She's carrying her bags. She's sucking up to her. She's kissing her ass, but behind her back she's like, yeah, I'm jealous. I mean, I guess she deserves it, but I really wanted it. I'm really jealous. And jealousy can kill a friendship very easily. Or I wouldn't even call that a friendship. I would call that like a slave ownership.
in that case, I'm really hoping that Mackenzie goes the better way and actually stops, one, hanging out with Chelsi, but also get a spine and actually just do stuff for herself and not be... She was getting kind of witchy in a lot of this episode, and it was... She's been hanging around with Chelsi too long.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have Jessie who chimes in, says she's happy for Chelsi, but she's not happy for the magazine. And my note is, well, so much for making amends.
She confuses me still. I don't really know what role she's going for in this, because...
It's kind of like she's Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
She's trying to play both sides, and that on its own is going to get her burned. I don't really know what else to tell you on that.
I think doing that, she is really, she's really trying to burn both ends of the candle, and eventually, when those wicks, melt the wax too long, they combust.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope she knows what she's doing, but something tells me she's not. She doesn't know what she's doing.
She doesn't have a clue.
And then Chelsi, obviously excited for the opportunity, but then she calls out Tia and all of those friends, so I think Tia's going to be her main target now.
Tia wasn't in this very much this episode. I was surprised, actually, since they were talking about it from the beginning.
But, and we'll get to this later, but when we come to the actual challenge, Tia looked the best I've ever seen her. And I'll go more into detail later because I want to break down the episode bit by bit, so that way, you know, after you've watched it, you can follow along with what we're talking about. After Chelsi talks about Tia being fake and all of those other people being fake. And I still think Tia's going to be a target. I think she's going to lay off of Jess for a while, and she's going to gun after Tia.
She went after Jess hard this time, though. She was... I don't know. It was very weird for me to see.
I think she'll try to knock off Tia before Jess.
Really?
Yeah. Because here's the thing. She thinks Jess is the weakest person, right? Well, no. Let me rephrase that. Jess is the strongest person, but she thinks that her backup is what makes her strong. And Tia is a major backup to Jess. Get rid of the backup, and then she's less strong. That's just kind of my theory.
I'm hoping she goes after Tia and gets served.
Gets served like a tennis ball. like Venus Williams is getting ready, serves up.
Yeah, right? I hope she goes for Tia and then Tia tells her how it is, because that would be epic. Stay strong, my girl.
But then we fast forward into, well, not fast forward, we transition to a very interesting scene between Mackenzie and Jessica.
This is what shocked me. Like, I don't know.
Right. We cut to Mackenzie talking to him and basically patronizing Jessica. You know, she was telling her that she was glad Jessica didn't go home and that she thought the judges had mercy on her last shoot. With Chelsi having immunity this week, she warned Jessica to stay out of Chelsi's way. And then Mackenzie sells out Helaina as the one who voted for Jessie. And not sheer Chelsi. And shit. Fireworks about to pop off.
Yeah, I know. That was a blow and a half. Like, I didn't expect that at all.
I don't understand how they knew that Helaina voted for Jessica. Unless, like, Helaina bragged about it or something. Because Helaina, like, she laid quiet for a little bit. And now she's coming to the forefront as somebody to pay attention to. Because she comes across as she doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, I didn't really have a strong opinion of her until this episode. Now I don't think it's a very good opinion, to be honest.
I thought Helaina would have been a contender, but I mean, this attitude is not going to serve her well. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she goes all the way with this attitude. I mean, granted, this isn't local best friends challenge. This is local ambition. So, I mean, eventually everybody has to become your competition. And so maybe she is drawing the lines early.
Maybe. I don't know. She's very forceful out of nowhere for me. Like, she's like a force to be reckoned with, and I didn't peg her to be that kind of person. I thought she was going to be one that, like, just slipped into the background and, like, did her thing, and maybe that's who I wanted her to be, and then she's not. So that's why it surprised me so much, but I don't know.
But so that's the thing. Mackenzie sells Helaina out, which I think Helaina had to brag of who she voted for anybody, because it looked like a secret ballot when they were voting last year. It looked like a secret ballot, so I don't know how Mackenzie would have known that Helaina voted for Jessica unless Helaina kind of came out and said, hey, yeah, I voted for Jessica. You know.
She should have asked how they knew. Then we would know.
Right.
But poor, what was it, Nikki Serenity, who was trying to do her little spiel and got in the crossfire of the Helaina.
You're jumping ahead of me.
Am I?
Yeah, you're jumping ahead of me.
That's where we're leading to.
We are leading to that, but there's still more that happened before that happened.
My bad, dude.
Then we've got, we're getting close to the photo shoot round. Helaina and Nana have an issue that they've chosen similar concepts for their shoot. Helena's wanting Nana to change since Helaina said she had already made her prosthetic before Nana even had the idea. Nana calls out Helena's costume for not making sense, says Helaina would have been better off to change her costume instead of her. Nana says that her reindeer soul eater costume is a ripoff of Lucifer, which I'm assuming she's talking about the Fox show Lucifer. It's on Fox, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Which I love that show. I don't know, there are a lot of Christians that come out against that show, depicting the devil as like a good guy. But it's like, no, if you really watch the show, he is a bad guy. But this story is told from his perspective. Mm-hmm. So it's just a perspective story. But anyway, Helaina is offering to help Nana with ideas. I don't think that's a good idea. But it seems as if Nana isn't really hearing any of it. Helaina thinks that she's come off rude to Nana, but seems unapologetic to her. I really think that Helaina is starting unnecessary drama. Mm-hmm. You know what? My thing was, let them both do the same. Let them both do their original, ideas. Yeah. See who has the better idea. You know? That way, you've got direct competition. And I don't think Helaina wanted direct competition. I think Helaina wanted to dominate and to kind of walk all over Nana, which didn't seem to work. And it... I don't know. My thing is, let's see who battles it out best. Step your game up. Don't be threatened by, okay, this person has a similar idea than I do. I'm gonna do something to stand out from that, and I'm gonna step my game up. That's how Helaina should have approached this, but no, she threw a fit and said, "Nope, I want you to change yours because I had mine first." That's just kind of like a piss poor attitude.
I'd be like, "You're not the boss of me. I'm doing what I want."
You're not the boss of me. Like we go third grade. You're not the boss of me. You're not my mother.
Don't tell me what to do. I love Nana in this whole thing, though. Like, she cracked me up the entire time.
She is like comic relief, isn't she?
I really like her. Like, especially when she was outright confused on what Helena's costume was supposed to be. And the way she was talking about it. And you know what? In Nana's defense, I was confused at what Helena's costume was supposed to be. Yeah. I'm like, the only thing I get is the mouthpiece. That was really the only piece that made sense with the whole theme anyway, so.
You know, and so I was watching that thinking, well, I hope she pulls it out when it comes to the photo shoot, because if that's what we're getting, I'm afraid Helaina has taken several steps back.
Yeah.
But
we'll get to that.
It's time for our new segment. We're leading to our new segment, the Shade of the Week.
I call shade.
Shade of the Week this week comes to us from Jessica and Helaina confronting each other about Helena's vote. Now, this is where Jessica could have thrown Mackenzie and Chelsi under the bus with this. She could have, but she didn't. And so I was kind of waiting for that. And it didn't happen. So I was like, yeah. Missed a complete clear opportunity with that. But anyway, Jessica confronts Helaina for voting for her. Helaina says that she would like to be friends with Jessica, but she believes that Jessica is so pathetic. Referencing her whining about Chelsi. And then Jessica claps back at Helaina by saying, I'm sorry she's trying to start shit, and you're not getting any camera time because you're not that interesting. Oh. Oh. Wow. Like, points to Jessica for that one, because that was a clap back.
That was good.
Finally, Helaina tells Jessica she's trying to play the victim. It seems Helaina is trying to make as many enemies as she possibly can. Like I said earlier in the show, I get that this isn't local best friends, but I don't know if being the lone wolf is going to serve her well in this competition. Competition like this, you really need allies to have your back.
Especially with the whole voting aspect and
Exactly.
everything like that.
And if you're going to be a bitch to everybody, guess what? Plan on being called to the carpet every week.
It's going to be you can make it a lot easier on yourself if you at least have a couple of allies on that squad, but it's going to be draining, and she's going to have to fight every step of the way if she wants to cut everyone out.
If this is her strategy, it's piss poor. It is piss poor.
Go back to the drawing board, dearie.
Yeah, go back to kind of flying under the radar and then shine when it's unexpected. That's what you should do. But just being a bitch to everybody, I don't like your chances. I really don't like your chances. But, and then coming to what you were talking about, with Nikki Serenity. They gave her poor Nikki, that poor girl. It was like, okay, tell us about the shoot today and how you felt about it and how much fun you had. You get 3, 2, 1. And she starts going into it, I really liked what I did, blah, blah, blah. And then Jessica just kind of barges in, I'm sorry, I have to get this off my chest. Wrong time, Jessica. Wrong time.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel so bad for her. Nikki's really, she's like, sure, go ahead. I mean, it's not like it was my turn or anything, whatever.
I empathize with Nikki Serenity because it happened to me at AGT when I actually saw the judges in that. Because after my backstage interviews, I'm trying to express what I'm feeling, and then you got somebody in the background hooping and hollering. They're like, you want to come in on the interview? And I'm like, sure. And then she comes in on the interview, God is great, God is good, I'm his mom's best friend, blah, 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 blah. And she was the last act of that night and got buzzed. And so I feel for poor Nikki Serenity. I really do. Because it's not a good feeling when you get Kanye Wested. And that's basically what happened.
Yep.
She's like trying to, explain what she went through and how much fun she had with, her shoot or her concept or anything. And it was like, I'm going to let you finish, but I have the best drama of the show right now. And that didn't happen to her just once. It happened to her twice, because Jessica, and then when Nikki was trying to redo that interview, Helaina comes in and starts bitching about Jessica. And it's like, poor Nikki just could not.
There's a time and place for everything. That was not the time or place. But also, Nikki Serenity, girlfriend, stand up for yourself. Be like, this is my time. Go find your own later. Like, I think she should have said something. Don't let her
She
walk
should
all over.
have.
But
And she's become like the welcome mat of this whole entire season. She just kind of stands in the back, and then she complains that she's the welcome mat, but not willing to do anything about it. It's like, speak up. Tell these other bitches, like, yo, this is my time. Shine on your own time.
I mean, unless she's just... I mean, she may just be trying to get through and just showing off on her shots and stuff, which... I mean, there's different ways about going about that, but don't let people walk on you.
I feel I wanted fire to be lit under her ass with this. I wanted her, when she said, I am not a doormat, I wanted to see, okay, you're not a doormat, prove to me you're not a doormat, and assert yourself. Mm-hmm. And, well, we'll find out how she did. In our next segment, sorry, I spaced out there for a second. Our next segment, we open the notebook.
The notebook is now open.
All right, this is the part of the show where we take our notes about the photo shoot.
My favorite part.
We had a photo shoot. They were to create their own monsters and their own scenes and see what they could do with it. First up was we have some shade first because Chelsi's costume, the Black Swan. She had Tia, she had Nana, she had Jessica, just kind of rip her to shreds. Rightfully so, because the Black Swan is not a monster.
Nope, not at all.
Not a monster. So, like, get some creativity into your photo shoots, Chelsi.
Well, and she acted like she didn't even know the story when she was trying to
Exactly.
If you're gonna have something, go with something you know. Do you think that? But I want to know. Do you think she did it because she has immunity? Do you think she did it just because she didn't really care or try? Or there's no way you can actually honestly think that's a monster. I don't understand her.
I think the thing is, she knew she had immunity, so she just kind of half-assed it with her concept.
Yeah. I mean, I think the end product wasn't horrible if it was a different kind of challenge. But for a monster challenge, there's no way in hell it worked for me.
Right. And then we have, basically that's it. I was looking at my notes thinking I had more to say, and no, I don't. She's like defending that, and that's what got me. That's what made me laugh. She's trying to defend her decision to do the Black Swan, and she doesn't know the story.
I'm pretty sure she included like 3 different stories in the entire thing she was trying to
She
explain.
doesn't know the story. How can you do the Black Swan and not know the story? That brings me back to episode 1 when Jessica said she wanted to do a documentary of Jack the Reaper. Do the research before you make an idiot of yourself on TV.
At least Chelsi pronounced Black Swan correctly. So that's good. She started off strong. And then explaining it.
That's a really low bar to set. At least you pronounced it correctly. At least you didn't say it's a black swain.
Swan.
Swan. I'm doing the Black Swan this week. Don't you think it's called Swan? No, it's the Black Swan.
Wasn't it Tia though that didn't even know that swans were birds?
It was.
She was like, "What is that anyway? Are they birds? Really? Oh, okay."
Right? Like.
Oh dear.
We don't have any. We can tell we don't have any college graduates.
Beauty and brains doesn't always have to go together, apparently. Okay, so next.
And just other girls talking trash about each other.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time to bring out the notebook. And now it's time to talk about the photo shoot. The actual photo shoot of monsters. Now, first one up, Tia. What did you think?
I wrote down here, legit, most beautiful werewolf ever.
Most beautiful weather. I can't really disagree with that.
I loved because in some of the shots, her hair was like, well, I love the hair, and I'm a werewolf fan anyway, but like
she embodied a werewolf.
Yeah, an elegant werewolf. Like it was, I don't know, like a cross between princess and a werewolf or something, but it was really cool, I think.
It was. It was really cool concept, really cool design. My notes, I said that she looked the most believable I've ever seen her. Mm-hmm. I totally buy it, especially the last picture with her being chained up. That sold it for me right there. I gave her a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, I didn't know we were ranking them that way. But
Yeah,
okay.
that's how I'm ranking them. You don't have to rank them that way, but I'm going to rank them out of 5.
Okay.
5
That
being
works.
the very best that you could do. I give her a 4.5 out of 5. It's going to take a lot for me to give somebody a perfect 5. So 4 out of 5 is probably as good as you're going to do.
Yeah, I would, in that scale though, I would give her a 4. Because, I mean, she was on the higher end of my scale, but
Yeah.
she didn't, there was others that I liked more, we'll say.
There were others that I liked more, yes, but I do love this concept for her. It was brilliant. It was
Yeah.
brilliantly pulled
And an
off.
actual monster.
Yes, an actual monster.
Good job, babe.
Which
job,
some of
yeah.
these were questionable.
There's a lot of question marks in this one.
Especially Nikki Serenity, which I thought that she'd have the light, the fire lit under her ass. I didn't see
Are
it.
you kidding me? She was my favorite.
Really?
Nikki Serenity, the Banshee,
The Banshee?
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I loved it. It was so great.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Like, elaborate.
Like, she
Why?
won my little, like, she's at the top for me. Well, I mean, especially still going with it as a real monster. But I think that a lot of the shots were very genuine and actually, like, real. And not, like, I don't know, like, I was scared. Like,
Really?
yeah, I loved it.
For me, the Banshee, she looked like she put on Halloween makeup, is ready to go to a party or trick or treating. Second pick sold it for me. I will say that. However, the first and third picks, I didn't buy it at all. I was hoping she would step up after her comments. I think she needs that fire relit under her ass. I gave her a 2 out of 5.
Oh my word.
I did. I'm sorry, but like,
Don't apologize.
Nikki Serenity needs to step it up for me. I'm not getting it.
I loved it, so.
What would you give it out of 5?
Well, she was my winner for this week, so I would give her a 4.5 to. I did a 4.5 for her.
Okay. Next up, we have Lolly, the Demon Hunter. What do you have for her?
I thought it was okay.
Just okay.
I wasn't really impressed.
We're really on the opposite ends of the page here.
This is gonna be
this week.
interesting. Yeah, I know. I didn't really have much on that one. It didn't grab my attention. I don't know, maybe because to be honest, she wasn't even in the show very much at all. Did she even talk?
Yeah, towards the end, we'll get to that.
Oh.
Towards the end.
That was funny. But, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed at all. I don't know.
I'm digging the first picture. The makeup is amazing, and she looks fierce in that pose. The second picture was more vivid, and I'm digging it more than the first picture. So far, I'm liking the progression of the shoot. And then we got to the third picture, and I thought, even though it was great, thought it was a step backward. I just wanted more character from her for that third picture. I wanted a crescendo, and I didn't get it. So,
Inconsistent.
right, I gave her a respectable 4 out of 5.
No.
No. What would you give her?
I give her a 3.
You give her a 3? Well, it's still not bad. Kind of average. Kind of middle of the pack.
Because I'm also judging on whether they were even a monster or not, to be honest.
Me
That's
too.
a big thing.
Me too.
She was. I mean, that's more monster than one of the other ones that I saw. So,
Mhm.
and it wasn't horrible. It wasn't.
It wasn't horrible, it just didn't stand out to you.
Yeah, it was just for me.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. We have Chrissy the Voodoo Priestess. Oh my god, this was a mess.
I have mixed feelings on it. I don't know.
I don't, but you go ahead.
I have to touch on the comment that she was saying she wanted to make voodoo dolls of all the other girls. I don't know if that would help her out at all, but it was funny for me. I don't know why. I don't really count voodoo doll as a monster. It's more of a witchcraft kind of.
Right.
I mean, it fits in with like a Halloween kind of theme, but not monster.
Yeah.
The actual costume, I think she could have done a lot more with it if she was going to go that way, but I think it was too I remember it being really busy,
Yeah.
and so it didn't focus on I didn't focus on the right things.
The painting
yeah.
on her face was just so distracting from
Yeah.
what she was trying to do. I have down that she looks more like she's going to a cosplay festival than taking on the challenge in her first pick. I think the cosplay angle was more highlighted in the second photo, and there's not much difference than the first photo, other than she's more zoomed in on the shot on the second. And at least in the third photo, she strikes a pose, but it's still cosplay for me. It was just a mess. Too much going on in the face. Like, she probably could have had great facial features for a voodoo doll, priestess, if I didn't have all that paint on her face to cover it up.
There was, I wrote down cool looking, but I don't remember which picture it was that there was one, I think it may have been the second, I don't remember. But I don't know, there was, I guess, bits and pieces that were cool, but it wasn't a monster. God damn it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I gave her a 1.5 out of 5. I thought it was a total mess.
Oh, wow. I didn't think it was that bad, but,
I did.
I was gonna give her, I don't know, 2.5 or 3. We'll go with,
You're kind.
2.5.
You're kind. All right. Now we go from voodoo priestess to voodoo doll. We have Nana, and well, I'm not sure she accomplished a voodoo doll look, but it is monsterish. I buy that part on the first photo. I didn't really get it on the second pick. Her facial again, she gave me pain in the facial expression in the second pick, which would make me believe she was a voodoo doll, but the face paint was just no.
I didn't like it at all. No.
And then the third picture was the star here. I really believed her as a monster. Do I buy the whole voodoo doll thing? No, not at all. But I still gave her a respectable 3 out of 5.
Yeah, see, I was disappointed because I wouldn't have known what she was at all unless if she hadn't told us, you know?
Yeah.
That's disappointing. Even though I love her to death, especially in this episode, because she was freaking hilarious.
Oh, hang
I
on.
would give her a
Hang
2
on.
point.
Chrissy didn't have all that paint on her face. She just looked like cosplay. My bad. I'm sorry. I was thinking Chrissy was the one with the black stripe. Yeah.
Nana and Chrissy together, weren't you?
Yeah, I was thinking she was the one with the black across her face, but it was actually Nana that had the black across her face.
No, Chrissy
had kind of like a bluish glow to her, if I remember correctly.
But her surroundings were a lot busier, and I
Yeah.
didn't like that. That's what I meant with
Yeah,
busy, but
she definitely got swallowed up with everything
the setting
around
was
her.
not good. I didn't
Yeah.
like it all.
Mackenzie as the rake. Now, here's my question. Do you believe, because this one looked more like she was an alien. Do you believe aliens are monsters?
No.
Not really?
The only thing I wrote down for that was it was not scary at all. I didn't like it.
that was your yawn moment.
Yeah.
The first shot made her look more like an alien, which, depending on your view, some people do consider aliens monsters. Second picture, I'm getting more alien than monster, but again, it's all in perspective. I did not like that third pick at all. That was just ew. And not ew in a monster kind of way, in a positive kind of way towards this competition. It was like, ew. You know, not that it's not weird enough, but the pose she was in was kind of lazy. I would have loved to see a little more contortion, a little more unnatural.
Mm-hmm. I like that you said that it seemed lazy, because that's exactly how I was feeling.
You know, and I gave her a 2.5. I think she deserved it. I think she deserved a 2.5 because she could have done better.
Nice.
That was being nice. Oh God, what did you have?
I only gave her a 1.5. I didn't like her at all. I mean, that's my ranking, at least.
Okay.
Now you're the one being nice.
Now I'm being nice. I'm not the whole Simon Cowell of this episode anymore. Helaina. We have to address this. We kind of touched on it before, but here's where we really get to go into it.
Oh God.
The mutilated Deer Queen. If she was on like one of those early 80s frat boys movies, I would have bought it. Like a frat Porky's. You ever seen that movie? Porky's?
No.
You have to go see that movie. Or Animal House.
No, don't know that one.
With Jim Belushi?
No.
Okay. Well, some of our listeners know what I'm talking about. If she was dressed up like that in those movies, I would have bought her for comedic relief. I didn't get it. The first two photos, the only thing monstrous about her was the prosthetic mouthpiece. Other than that, I would consider her just a Halloween decoration. The third picture totally fails for me. She looks like she's trying to play innocent. Monsters are feared. They're nightmares. They're aggressors. They aren't innocent. I don't think she got the challenge this week. That's sad because last round she was so fierce. This time she played it less than safe.
Yeah.
Well, more than safe. Sorry, it's less than safe would have been taking a risk. She didn't take any risks with this. She just put on she painted her arms black, put some antler thing on her head, and did some sort of prosthetic mouth thing, and I didn't buy it.
Well, and the fact that it was such a big deal to not have her mouthpiece done by anyone else, and it was a huge thing, it gets you ramped up thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be a cool shoot. And she looked like someone out of, a big Christmas movie gone wrong. It was
like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas Part 2.
Or I don't know, man, because it didn't look Halloween at all. I legit saw a Christmas movie, and that was it.
Man, I want to live in your Christmas world.
The mouthpiece was really cool, so that's really the only
That
reason
was
she got a point.
probably the only thing that was cool.
She lost for me. That was the worst one, and I think it might be also because of the letdown of all the drama from before, but
for me, I did not let that influence my score. I scored her based off of the photographs I saw, and you can probably guess what I gave her. 1.5 out of 5.
I gave her a 1. I'll give her a 1.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You're purposely trying to be meaner than I am.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, coming up now we have Jessica and Karema. Hang on, what was it? Karema? I've never heard of Karema, but maybe that's just like a something she thought up.
No, she said the story about it was a Japanese creature or tale or something.
Oh, that's
where,
right. Yeah.
He would actually take the form of a human and lure guys or whatever to where, I guess, they're crypt or whatever, and then
Oh, that kind of sounds like the
suck
Blair
their
Witch.
soul out or whatever.
That's kind of sounds like the Blair Witch
Project. It
Project.
sounds like a succubus kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just weird for me.
Weird in a bad way.
It was a monster, but it was too much white. I guess I associate monsters as darker creatures, and there was a lot of white going on, and I didn't like all the extra tails and limbs. I don't know, and I didn't like any of her pictures really. It was just weird for me to get my head around, I guess.
The first photo, the first pic is too much green fog covering her face. I can't really tell what's going on there. Second photo sells it for me. I liked it. But she looked like she should be feared, but I get kind of I don't know if you've ever watched the show Inuyasha.
I have, a while ago, but yeah.
She gives me an Inuyasha vibe with that second photo.
She mentioned that, though, that it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh! And some Pokemon features that have been taken from, they have taken how do I explain it? They have taken parts of those tales or whatever when they
Yeah.
made their characters or whatever. So, Inuyasha. I can't
Inuyasha.
pronounce it, but yeah, that thing.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying she ripped it off, but I will say it's definitely inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Her sitting in a tree with her fangs showing and her claws out was a shining example of how brilliant she can be. But the last picture was too modelly for me. I don't know, it's a modeling competition, but the challenge was to be a monster. And if you're trying to be all cutesy, that's not monster for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I felt she was. You know, go the distance with the character. Make me believe that you are that character in that photo. So I gave her a respectable 3.5. It was hit or miss. Mostly hit, but some of the misses really cost her. And finally, they actually changed I think for copyright reasons, they changed the name of Chelsi's to the Dark Swan. First of all, it's not a monster.
Nope.
We can agree on that, right?
Agreed.
She looks more like a model that's willing to put anything on to be noticed. First pic, she made it to be glamorous. The second and third pictures weren't that great either. Nothing frightening or monstrous about this photo shoot. It falls flat, 1.5 out of 5.
I would probably go with that ranking as well. She looked more like a wicked witch, dark queen kind of character. It didn't remind me of a black swan at all.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I had mixed feelings because I actually, I really liked the shoot, as a whole. But for this theme, there was nothing there for it, and
Right.
it was...
If it was like a freelance,
Yeah.
do whatever you want. We're just going to take pictures of you, do whatever you want. I would have given her a 5.5 because she did look great.
Yeah.
But if we're going with the theme of being a monster, that significantly drops her value.
Yeah. Definitely agree. So, we've actually agreed on one this time.
So, I think, Chelsi can't be in trouble. She is, she has immunity. I think Helaina could be in trouble. And I think Chrissy could be in trouble. Those are my two that I would send home.
I don't know. I mean, I know Helaina has to be on the lower end, but I didn't like Mackenzie's.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Mackenzie's wasn't
it wasn't
great.
Scary at all for me. I don't know.
Mackenzie's wasn't great, but I would put her above Helaina and Chrissy.
Fair enough.
I would.
I don't know. It's either that or maybe the voodoo doll one. Not not the voodoo doll. No, yeah, Chrissy. I guess that I would. Yeah, that is the voodoo doll one I was thinking of.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up a little bit. I don't smoke, but I really want to know how Nana made a bong out of a pineapple. I really want to know how that
The
happened.
same way you do it with an apple. I'll explain it to you later.
Yeah, I'm not into the weed culture, so I don't know how that happens. But that was just funny, and she's talking to what I assume is Chrissy in Chrissy's character, and Chrissy, all she's doing is grunting and groaning.
She's
and
the character from that one movie that crawls out of the TV.
The Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
A similar.
Similar?
Because she talks about the well and TV and all that other stuff, so I'm assuming they're playing off a character. And
Okay.
it wasn't, who'd you say it was, Lolly?
I thought it was Chrissy.
Or Chrissy? No, it wasn't Chrissy. They actually quoted, I think, in there, in the credits or something, who played her. It was a different person altogether, I believe.
Huh.
I'll have to look on that. I don't want to say false information and it not be, but...
We'll have to look into that again.
I remember seeing...
Because I didn't write that in my notes for some reason.
I remember seeing something quoted about Scary Girl or whatever in the credits, and then it was a different name I hadn't seen.
But just having a conversation with her was
It was
hilarious. And then Lolly walks up. Who the hell are you talking to? And the girl's not even there. It's like Nana was talking to herself.
Well,
Which Nana could have been, like, she was getting high, so she could have been talking to herself.
what's in that weed, girlfriend? Give me some.
And then we go, this is interesting. To end the show on, this is interesting. Helena's fishing for her bag out of the lake because she can't find it.
Shit, yeah.
And I'm not sure what it's doing in the lake, but okay. So there's that. And then we get a little more into the story that leads Helaina drying out her stuff that was in her bag when she sits with Mackenzie. And Helaina realizes her grandmother's ring is missing. At that point, Mackenzie decides to tell her that she and Helaina need to talk. I have a feeling either Jessica or Nana's names are going to come up.
Why not?
Because remember, Helaina and Nana had that tiff about, oh, you can't be that because I'm that.
I don't see that happen. I don't think Nana would play like that for something
I don't
like
think
that.
so. I don't think so either. But I wouldn't be surprised of Mackenzie throwing that up. Because Nana, I think, is another strong competitor. And so the more strong competitors she can knock out of the way for Chelsi, the more loyalty she earns with Chelsi. Which is sad because Mackenzie could be great on her own. She doesn't need Chelsi. But
Stop turning into a Chelsi 2.0, okay?
Well, it's not even that. She's turning into, like, Chelsi's personal assistant. And it's kind of sad.
It is.
It's kind of sad. But anyway, so next week we'll find out who gets kicked off. If we're right, if we're wrong. And chances are we're wrong all the time. So who is Mackenzie going to bring up as the possible person to have thrown Helena's bag into the lake? And of course that's going to earn Helena's wrath. And how does Chelsi's immunity play out? Who's going to vote for who?
Damn.
Is Chelsi becoming the face of the show? Do you think so?
I don't know. I think that she still has some competition there. I mean, but winning that cover may have done something. I don't know. I think that she still has. I don't think it's between her and Jessica right now. Jessica's.
I am still not off the theory that maybe Jessica and Chelsi are playing everybody. I'm still not off that theory because, I mean, nothing really was added to that story this week. So, other than, you better protect Chelsi, with Mackenzie early in the show. But other than that, nothing really new was added to that. And so, you had Jessica, trash Chelsi's outfit, but, she could have been acting.
I think that the voting on this one's going to tell a lot more story than anything else, really. I don't know.
Okay.
Considering the whole drama started with trying to influence the judging and all that other stuff, so
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I'm Travis. That was Erica, and this was episode 4 of Ambitiously Yours. Stay tuned for episode 5 next week. And the actual episode 5 of Local Ambitions premieres tomorrow on alwaysLateTV.com. So stay tuned for that. And then check us out next Sunday. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.